way back when I was little. I had a hard time understand and accept that I was handicapped in my legs, and I guess today, I mean, I learned back then that you just have to move on, you know. You can't just stay and be sad about who you are. You have to be positive and push yourself to do what you want, you know. I think a lot of guys and friends who I know have a hard time with doing so, and it's okay, but I just want this out, that it's okay to be who you are, and it's okay to say, hey, I can't do this, but then I have something else I can do. There is always something else you can do. Like, I produce. I never thought I would produce trance music. It was only a dream back then, but now I'm here. So that's my best advice to everyone. You shouldn't give up. You should move on. You know, just accept who you are, even though it can be really, really hard.
My name is Victor Kidson, and I'm here in Denmark with Jack, who's also known as Dreamy. How are you doing today?
I'm really good, thank you.
How's your day been today?
It's been really hard. I've been training, obviously, at my musical work, and so I've been with my trainer and training my legs and my back and such. So it was pretty hard, but I kind of tried to go on. You know, it's really hurting, but yeah, it's a different kind of pain, as Mads says, my trainer. So it's kind of rough, but I can do it, and I really like it.
How would you explain your handicap?
Well, my handicap is spastic paralysis, which is I have a hard time walking because I'm very stiff in my legs. Been through a lot of operations and different kind of stuff, and then I also have a bad sight, which kind of came with the handicap when I was little. I was actually close to die. I've heard that from my biological mother, that I was really close to die because I couldn't breathe. So I also have a really bad kind of way to I have a hard time breathing sometimes. And then also, thirdly, I was kind of getting confirmed that I got Tourette's as 14 years old, which was kind of sad because that, I don't want to say weird sounds, but it's not bad at all. It's just like a cat sound, like I'm here or something like that. I obviously can't do it on commando, but yeah. My friends say it's really cute, so it's fine. I guess I can live with everything, but it's really hard, especially when I walk and everything. Like if I'm on a road where everything is like bumbling and such,
bumpy roads like that.
Exactly that. Because I go with a rollator, which is a thing that you can go with. Old people goes with them as well. So it's really kind of hard to get around everything, but I try to just move on, and you know, this is how I am. You know, it's like I don't want to be someone that I'm not. You know, I'm trying to really just be positive and just be myself, because it's really hard dealing with this kind of things. And I actually have a friend of mine who actually was at TEAMKIDSON, and she also have kind of the same handicap as me, so she walked with a rollator actually, and she told me that she's extremely happy that other people are that positive, because we kind of share the same energy actually. She's very positive as well. So it really just show that you can do what you want. Just be positive and believe in yourself. You know, even though it's hard, just believe in yourself, and you can do things that you normally wouldn't think you could do. You shouldn't be pushing yourself down. You should be pushing yourself up, you know, like in a good way. Just say that you can do it, and then you can. So that's again my best advice I can give. Just be who you are and do your best. Then people will automatically come to you and help you and whatever.
Before we go anywhere, I need to ask you about a couple of years ago, Luminosity Beach Festival.
Yeah.
I wasn't there that year, but I saw you on the live stream, on the video. What was it like to play there?
It was amazing. I remember when I landed in Holland, and we were going to the hotel, and the first person that I met was Simon O'Shine. And we had a really nice talk, and he was very nervous as well. He's really shy, but he's so cool. And I got to meet his girlfriend as well, which is a really nice person. They both are. And then I met Sean Tyas later, right before we were leaving on the Lumi bus. Which was really cool because I was asking him the day before if I could borrow his plug for the headphones, because I lost mine, and he actually gave it to me, and he said, "No, you can have it." And I was like, "Whoa, really?" And that was such a cool moment. I was taking a picture. Taken a picture with him and Daniel Skyver, and then obviously I went to the scene with the Lumi bus, and when I started I was pretty nervous because there was coming people, and a lot of people were coming. Like in 10 minutes there was like 50 people, and then it moved on to the end of the set where Adam Ellis was gonna go after me. So it was packed. It was amazing that people were listening to my music and were having a good time. And I hear from a lot of people that that Lumi is a must-go place if you want to kind of not really. I guess you can call it promote yourself, but also feel the energy. Like I've played here in Denmark, and it's not really the same as playing outside the world. Now that I have been at Lumi, but it's really special when you're with the whole trance family, as we call it, the whole thing, because they are into what you do, they are into your music, and
they know your tracks, right?
Yeah, exactly. They know my tracks, so it was amazing. And I got a lot of really nice friends there as well, and a lot of producers actually came over to me when I was done playing, because I wanted to obviously see my mate Adam Ellis play. Fucking good set, so amazing. It was really nice. So I met a lot of friends who wanted to congratulate me, and also fans who wanted me to sign things. And that was this guy, so funny. He was like. He was walking over to my helper, Clint, and he was like, I think he was surreal, because he was like, "Oh my God, is this really me on stage?" He was like, "Is this Dreamy on stage?" And my Clint was like, "Yeah, it is." And he was like, he goes totally like, I don't know what happened to him, but he was like, "Oh my God, it's Dreamy!" And oh my God, I was like, wow, when I heard it, and he was one of the first persons to kind of really, "Oh my God, I'm a big fan of your music," and I was having a big hug from him and all sorts of things, but it was so amazing.
Yeah, how does that feel? Because right now we're in your studio, and this is where you make the music.
Yeah.
How does it feel to bring your music outside of your studio, outside into dance floors, outside into other people's homes where they listen to the tracks and love the tracks too?
It's amazing, because I've always wanted this with my music. I've always wanted people to listen to my music, but back back in 2009 when I started, I was very nervous when people wanted to hear my music because I didn't feel that I was good enough. And I think it was like 2014 where I really got the self-belief in myself, because I already signed on Pure Trance, Solar Stone's label, and all those good guys. And that made me really think that, yeah, my music is something, and it's really cool that I have this fan base that really supports what I do, and really cares about my music and my self being. You know, it's really amazing that something like this can happen. So.
But you actually told me a couple of days ago that you're actually not satisfied. You actually still want to be better and improve in music, right?
Yeah, that's true. I sometimes sit with a lot of stuff, and at the moment I'm kind of, nah, this doesn't work, and this doesn't work, and I'm like, sometimes I'm just stuck in what I do, and it's really annoying, because I want to get new music out, but it's really hard to just push it out. You just have to let it come and do something else. That's really an amazing tip that I can give, and a lot of producers have said this. Do what you like, other than producing. Do your hobbies, you know, and just do that, and you'll be fine, and then you'll come back and, oh, I have this idea. Yes, it's working, you know. So it's all about the writer's block, as we call it, where you're kind of, oh, I don't know how to get that bass line right, and I don't know how to get the kick right, and so it can get messy sometimes, but yeah, definitely do something else that you really like other than producing.
When we're doing this interview today, your latest released track was signed and released on Paul Oakenfold's Perfecto. The track is called Why So Afraid of Me.
Yeah.
How would you, what's the story behind the title?
Well, the story behind the title is that, yeah, it has to do with my childhood, because my biological mother couldn't take care of me, so that's why I'm here in my foster parents, and I've been here for 26 years, so really amazing, really love them. And but yeah, my mom was kind of always throwing me away a little bit when I was visiting her at weekends and stuff when I was little. And there was this time where I was getting hit by her boyfriends and all sorts of crazy stuff I've been through. But yeah, I remember this moment where I just wanted to be with my bigger brother, Andreas, and also George, but he wasn't really home at that time. He was playing football a lot at the time in Spain and Italy and such, so he wasn't too much around. But Andreas, we had such an amazing time together. I remember, kind of funny story, I remember playing Final Fantasy VII with him, and he kind of translated what the different characters were saying, and in that way, that I was improving my English way before that I even got to learn it fully. So it was really amazing, and I have always been very close to my big brother. He really tries the best to get my mom and every one of us connected, but it's so hard when our mother doesn't really see what she does wrong, you know. She kind of lives in another world, and it's kind of sad for her as well, because she really loves me, but I just think because I've decided to not really go and see her anymore, not without anyone near me, because it's like she can be very convincing, and that's kind of dangerous, really. I'm sorry to say it, but it's really like that, and it's really something that I'm kind of sad of, because I want to see her, because we actually have a connection with trance music and electronic music, because I used to listen to a lot of tracks with her, like Hampenberg, Danish producer Morten Hampenberg, shout out to him, he's really cool, and Chesto and all those big guys, you know. We were a big listener of, and it's kind of sad that I can't really speak with her without she being all over me, kind of. So I've decided to kind of not see her too much. So I'm guessing she must wonder why don't you message me when it's your birthday, or why don't you message me back when it's Christmas or something? Why so afraid of me? I guess she thinks, and that's the story behind it. So it's both. It's related to my mother, but it's also related to my childhood as well. So it's a very powerful track. At least I think I had really good times producing it. So yeah.
How do you feel today, looking back at your childhood and your background and where you come from?
It's a good question actually. I really like some parts of my childhood. Like I didn't always have bad times, especially times with my big brothers and where I felt safe when I was around them, and that was kind of a thing. When my mother couldn't be there, I was always like, I was always like just hanging around with my brothers and just hanging around with the friends I had at the time. So it's kind of a hard question to answer, but I think that it's all right because I can leave my past behind, and yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that as well, because as I said before, I've been here a couple of days hanging out with you, and you're a very, very positive person, even though everything you've been through. How do you get a positive view on everything?
Well, it's kind of funny because I just feel like that it's part of me, you know. It's part of who I am, and I don't know exactly know why I'm so positive, but I guess it's like I just try to view things in a good way, and not focusing on negative things. And it can be hard sometimes, because when you're in a situation where things are going down, or when you have like friends who doesn't understand your music and doesn't really understand who you are, it can kind of be really really hard for me to get through everything. But I really try, and I try to solve everything. I guess that's that's a little part of my big brother as well, Andreas. And then George was very serious about things. So I guess I have a little bit of those of my brothers inside me, because I try to reason with everything, and I try to not hurt people and such. So yeah, it's not like I'm a Mary Sue or anything. Like you can Google that word if you don't know what it is. But it's basically someone who does want the right things for the world and does the best to, yeah. But it's not like that. It's I have difficulties, and I just accept who I am, because way back when I was little, I had a hard time understand and accept that I was handicapped in my legs, and was saying weird sounds and such because of my Tourette's and such. So I guess today, I mean, I learned back then that you just have to move on. You know, you can't just stay and be sad about who you are. You have to kind of go on. You know, it's like you have to not try to think too much negative. You have to be positive and push yourself to do what you want, you know. I think a lot of guys and friends who I know have a hard time with doing so, and it's okay. But I just want this out, that it's okay to be who you are, and it's okay to say, hey, I can't do this, but then I have something else I can do. There is always something else you can do. Like I produce. I never thought I would produce trance music. It was only a dream back then, but now I'm here. So that's my best advice to everyone. You shouldn't give up. You should move on. You know, just accept who you are. Even though it can be really really hard. So
I think a lot of people need to hear that, actually. I was looking through your Discogs, before I came here. A lot of your tracks have really personal names to them. How would you say how would you describe some of the stories behind some of your most personal tracks?
Well, a lot of my tracks, yeah, has a personal title to them, and a lot of them has to do with my childhood actually, and my biological mother who never really could never really could take care of me, and I've kind of, yeah, back then I was kind of wishing she would be there for me, and kind of I even back at my old school, my music school, I was doing a track for a CD that they were doing. I actually did two tracks to my mother, and I remember playing one of them for her, and it was like I was singing, like I was trying to explain to her how I felt at the time, where she was just traveling all over the world, and never said anything to me, and never really tried to get a chance to be there for me, at least when I was there. So it's like a lot of my tracks are based around that, and she kind of got angry when I did that song track for her back then, and at the same time she cried. So it's a very special emotion that I got from my mom, and I wanted to put that in You Said You Promised, and it was really cool that Armin actually played the track. So, but yeah, yeah, a lot of my tracks I try to look back at my past, because it really helps me getting something out. It's not just to do music; it's to get something out, something that I've been hiding, or something that hurts me inside. I tend to produce music around that, and especially with trance, I have a feeling with that, because it's all emotion. For me, trance music is all about emotion, and all about the feelings you get when you listen it, the moods you get, everything, you know. So yeah, a lot of my track has very dark titles, but it has mostly to do with my childhood and who I am. So.
How does it feel when somebody like Armin van Buuren plays for pretty much the world one of your most personal creations musically?
Yeah, it was amazing. I remember my first track. I had a play of back in 2013 called Amanda, and there is a story behind this one as well. My mom at the time was living near some of her friends, and they had a daughter, and she was so cool. She was like she was kind of the only one besides my big brothers who actually took me in. Like she wasn't really she was about the same age as me. I think I was 14, 15 or something like that, and she really took me in, and respected who I was. Like she didn't even like look at weird at me or anything like I was used to. She was welcoming me, and she was like being really kind. So yeah, but the sad thing is the friendship. We didn't have the time to start a friendship, because my mom was moving very shortly after. So I was like, I've never seen her again. So but yeah, I was making this track for her, because I wanted to get it out, that she was really kind, and kind of the only one at the moment back then who really knew how I felt, or who really could see when I explained how I was and such. So yeah, she could see that I had a really, really hard time, and I really did. So I was in a very, very painful moment, because my mother couldn't accept who I was, and yeah.
What are you working on right now, like story-wise in music?
You mean productions? At the moment, I have a collab with Rene Ablasser, a male vocalist. Can't remember his name at the moment, but then I have an album that I'm working on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, via my manager Dan, who actually was telling me, hey, you should really do an artist album. But at the first, I was like, I don't know, because here's the part where I get unsure about myself, you know, if I'm good enough. Because doing an artist album is really kind of difficult, because you have to not only adapt to other people, but you have to kind of make everything club friendly and home friendly. But I think it's not really a problem when you have the ideas. But I tend to kind of, I feel like at the moment I am, as I said before, I'm losing kind of inspiration. And I try to find them with going with my friends and such. I have a really nice a friend named Jonas who is working at my place, and we tend to go out and eat in different places, and he shows me all different stuff, and that really gives me a little bit of drive back from when I started, because I remember when I started producing music, I had all these ideas, but I wasn't very good, so it's kind of funny, but. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff coming actually. My collab with Daniel Candy will be out soon as well, and obviously Why So Afraid of Me is out now. So I have a lot of really cool stuff coming, but I'm trying to get some really big names on the album. I can't say too much about it yet, but it's gonna be really good, hopefully.
I can't wait to hear more about that too. I wish there were more we could speak of, but it's still a new idea, so we are not allowed to talk about everything yet, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Daniel Candy, your fellow Danish producer, how did it feel to do a track with him?
It was amazing because I've always been a big fan of his works. It's a little bit funny because I used to look videos on YouTube, like just browsing different kind of because I was into progressive back in 2008. I got this operation with my legs, and when I came home, I used to just sit on my computer and find music, just random trance music, and I fell over Daniel Candy. Actually, it's kind of funny because it was Andy Blueman, "Time to Rest," the Daniel Candy remix. Original is fucking good, but Daniel's remix just it's so amazing. And I was kind of, who's this guy? He sounds Danish or familiar, you know? And then, obviously, in 2009, when I started at my education place called TEAMKIDSON, I was doing radio interviews because that was what I wanted to try, and try to hold a microphone and interview others. And one of my helpers, or one of a blind guy who was working there, one of his helpers actually noticed my music when I was producing, slowly starting to producing, and she was like, "You know what? It sounds similar to one of my cousins who is also producing." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. What's his name?" Mark Andres. And I was like, I gotta check it. So when the day was done, I got home and I was searching up his name, and then Daniel Candy came up, and I was like, "Whoa, okay. So this is kind of cool." We actually arranged an interview with Mark, so that's why I was kind of researching on what he have done, and he had done a remix, Imwind One Wish, on Anjuna Beats, and he have done a lot of stuff on Anjuna Beats with Mark, Daniel, sorry. So that was really cool to see, and when I got to finally sit and talk with Mark, it was amazing because I've never really stepped into how a producer or a DJ actually travels around, and if you can live, if you really can live
from it.
Yeah, exactly, and also how you get around and such, and all the different people you meet, and it was really amazing because I had a lot of questions for him about who we have met and how the feeling is when you're producing and such. And it was awesome because he began sending stuff to me that he was working on, and I was sending stuff to him, so that was really cool, and we began a really good friendship. Today I don't think he's doing film music now. He left the trance scene because of he was tired of the politics and everything. He felt that the scene was changing. So I don't blame him, to be honest, because it is really changing. It is getting harder to get signed, and everybody is doing kind of the same thing. But not in a bad way. I'm not bashing anyone, but it's just the sound that yeah. But he was a really good guy, and Daniel, obviously, it was amazing doing a collab with him because like I've been a big fan and listening to a lot of his productions when I was at TEAMKIDSON. So he have kind of been my guideline also to how you produce stuff and how everything is set up, and I could kind of adapt. That's what I mean with all this. I could kind of adapt to different genres and stuff. So it was kind of cool starting your first track, which was really bad, but it was kind of uplifting. But I guess it was really cool. But yeah, it's so cool working with Daniel because he started Always Alive in 2011 and Promised is probably one of my favorite tracks from him besides the collab with Philip Alpha, If It Ain't Broke, which our new collab, I wanted a little bit of the same direction because I really liked the flow and everything. So 2014, just a few days before I actually got operated again, I was doing this segment because I lost my grandmother in October 2014, and so I wanted to produce a special track for her. And then my grandfather died as well, like in January 7th of January 2015. And Daniel later last year 2016 he came up with this amazing title called Match Made in Heaven, and I was like, no, this shouldn't only be for my grandmother, it should be for both of them because they are up in the heaven, and kind of match made in heaven. It's like me and Daniel together producing a special track for my grandparents. So that alone means everything to me. And I was over at him at Cebu, the town where he lives, and it was amazing to see how he works, and he's such a friendly guy. Really, he really is, and I'm so happy that I know him. Not only for the production side. I know I've said this before, but I don't only see him as a producer. I see him as a real friend because he understands how I feel. He understands the music, and he understands overall the concept of everything. So it's really, really good that I know him, and a guy who I never thought I would get signed on and a label, and to even do a track with him. Like, that was my big dream back in the days, but I never thought it would happen. So I'm kind of speechless, but at the same time I'm really proud in a good way. Yeah,
because I was going to ask you about that too. Like, what does it feel to, because these are people that you looked up to, Daniel and Armin playing your tracks as well. How does it feel to actually be where you want it to be?
It's amazing because when I was little, I would never guess that I would come this far because, I've always been a big music fan and always been a big listener of electronic music and then trance, of course. And you never know because it's like you have your goals, your dreams. I really wanted to start DJing. I had a program a long time ago on my PC where I was kind of trying to mix track via that, just with the mouse, and kind of learning how to beat match and everything. And but yeah, you don't know because it's like you want to do this, but you don't know how it's gonna end up when you start. It's like you have to be. I must say, I've been extremely lucky. Because haven't it been for Susie, who was actually getting in contact with her cousin Mark, I never would have really maybe pushed myself to really do this. I mean, I love trance music with my heart, but I've never guessed I would sit here and release music on A State of Trance, Armin van Buuren's label, and Always Alive, and all these sorts of really cool guys. So it's kind of a surprise that that I've come this far. But I'm also kind of pushing myself a lot. I like to push myself a lot because I like to not give up. Because I feel like there's no there's no reason to give up. You know, you can do whatever you want. Just you believe in it. You know.
What do you dream of today?
I guess the same as everyone else, you know, getting more gigs and such. But it's really hard. Again, the scene has changed a little bit. Like it's harder to get promoters, and it's harder to get people to really understand your music and how it goes, because there is so many people around the table of trance music and everywhere. You know, it's not only trance music but everywhere. It's hard. It's really hard to get signed, and I think that it's special that if you can get signed or anything, it's a really nice feeling, you know. It's special when someone picks up your track and say, yeah, this sounds really good and we like this. So yeah, I don't know. It's like really, yeah.
What are you looking forward to right now for 2017 and this year in music?
Well, at the moment it looks kind of promising because I have actually a quite few gigs planned, but it's not really official yet. But the guys are still working on it. Dan, my manager, is sorting out something in Spain, and then also I have something coming up in the USA because. People know this. Last year, I was supposed to play with Greg Donny, and because of the ticket sales, I think it was, and some politics stuff in LA, we weren't able to go. I wasn't able to go, so they postponed. He postponed the event, Bakari. So it looks like that because I got a message today asking me how my Esther was looking, my visa. And I still have 2 years, so it looks promising. So he's kind of, I think he's trying to sort stuff out. But definitely, I have something coming up in Spain and US at the moment. Can't say too much because I don't know when it's coming or how it's gonna end up, but we'll see. We'll see. It looks promising.
I can't wait to hear more, and I can't wait to hear more about the album as well.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Thank you so much for your time.